We have a lot more to cover this afternoon, but before we get into that, we actually have a video to share with you. So what you're about to see is a series of clips from that are a sampling of over 300 patients and caregivers that responded to a voice survey, True Reply survey, sharing with us their experience with MPN. So we'd like to share that with you now.
The most difficult part of living with this disease is the change in my quality of life. I've had to adjust temperature requirements, exercise. I have to take Hydrea, a chemo pill. I get dizzy. I've had double vision. My sleep is disturbed.
Not knowing what the future will be and not knowing when the symptoms will flare up, like itching, spleen enlargement, exhaustion, not able to do the things I used to do.
I was very healthy all my life. I was diagnosed with polycythemia vera in my 40s, actually. The most problematic thing is the chemo pills. I don't mind the phlebotomies, and right now I feel like my time allotted is close to the end, and it's scaring me.
Not knowing what my future will hold. My family doesn't know what's going to happen.
And concerned long-term about disease progression or shorter-term effects like clots or strokes. As a younger patient who was diagnosed at age 45, I have a long path on this, so it's a significant impact to my life.
I'm an athlete, and so the fatigue has also been just decimating.
Bone pain and the itching, mainly the fatigue, and blurry vision, dizziness.
It's affected my day-to-day living activities. I find I get out of breath a lot easier, and all of a sudden I may be in a shop, and it's like somebody flips a switch.
Lightheadedness to follow for a few months, and it was discovered I had moderate to aggressive mini strokes. It was a wake-up call for me.
Polycythemia vera has unknowns to it, like what days I'll feel more nauseous than others. It affects my vision. I experience fatigue, and not knowing on a daily basis which of the symptoms are going to creep up and be today's event.
I am now on anagrelide, and it's causing me to have cardiac symptoms. So finding a better drug would be the difference between life and death.
Hydroxyurea worked for 6 years, but now it has progressed to AML, so it has become very challenging today. We're looking for a stem cell transplant.
The biggest problem with my life right now is dealing with the open wounds that have been created by hydroxyurea.
The problems I'm having now is with strength. I'm having to get a B12 shot every time I go to the Cancer Institute. I'm always anemic, and the problems just seem to persist, but it seems to be getting worse, and there's no reason as to why.
The fact that I have to go once a month and travel over an hour and 15 minutes to get to a place to have my blood tested and possible phlebotomies has put a cramp in our lifestyle and our planning.
My exhaustion limits me to perhaps 2 hours a day of good energy.
I'm just afraid to get a full-time job because there's days I don't know if I can do it. And that's not my normal. I actually like being up and going.
I struggled with getting to class on time, getting assignments done during college courses.
Well, fatigue means that I can't work like I used to. No sex drive.
The most difficult part for me is the fear of the unknown. I guess not a whole lot being known about the disease at the time I was diagnosed. I had a 9-month-old little girl at the time, and so I didn't really know where my life was going to go. And it's a difficult thing to live with chronic pain, and you never know what to expect from doctor appointment to doctor appointment, and it's like you never can get a straight answer, and it's just scary. It's very scary. That's the hardest part for me. It's just the fear.
concerned if I switch jobs to another company and progress in my disease that I may not be able to work effectively like I can now. I have 3 children. My wife has gone back to work to ensure that we have medical coverage in case I progress.
I sort of look at each day as a gift, which we should all do anyhow. And if the disease changes the course of my life or my ability to do certain things, I guess so be it, as almost any disease could do that.
The diagnosis woke me up. It grounded me. I became more at peace. I learned about mindfulness. Now I am moving in a new direction, but I feel actually empowered and pretty terrific.
I remain optimistic that there will be a cure and that everyone, including maybe even me, won't have to deal with this forever.
The many faces and the many voices of individuals and family members struggling with MPN, and I think it echoed a lot of what we heard this morning and previews much of what we'll hear this afternoon. But we do, before we start our second discussion on current and future treatments, we have the opportunity to hear from an official from the Food and Drug Administration. So it's my privilege to welcome to the stage Meghana Chalasani, who is a senior research analyst in the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research within FDA. She is within the PFDD staff within the Office of the Center Director. Joining me in welcoming Meghana.
Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. And I'm really happy to see so many patients, caregivers, and advocates in the audience, and I know many more of you are joining us via the webcast as well. Thank you all so much for being a part of this very important meeting and sharing your experiences with us. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the MPN Research Foundation, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, MPN Advocacy and Education International, MPN Cancer Connection, and MPN Education Foundation, and all the staff that were involved in planning this meeting, especially Michelle, Lindsay, and Amy, who I know have tirelessly been working to ensure that today we all hear the voice of the MPN patient community. I'm here today representing the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, and I'm joined here by several of my colleagues, and I know many more of them are joining us via the webcast as well. We understand that MPN is a complex and serious condition with physical, emotional, and social impacts, and that there is an unmet need for patients. We heard this morning from all of you on how MPN and its impacts affect your daily life. We heard about the fatigue, the impact on your ability to fall asleep or stay asleep, the brain fog and other cognitive impacts, vision impairment, and so much more. And having this kind of dialogue with you today is extremely valuable for us because hearing what patients care about can really deepen our understanding and help us lead the way in figuring out how to best facilitate medical product development for MPN. This afternoon, we'll hear more about what matters to you, particularly in regards to potential treatment benefit. This input can help inform how clinical trials for MPN can be improved, what treatment benefits you seek, and what risks you are willing to accept. I think it's also important for us to know who else is in the room with us today. So just to kind of get a gauge of who all is in the room, if you're a patient, loved one, caregiver, or advocate, could you please raise your hand? Wow. And so for those of you on the webcast who might not have a visual here, it was, I can't count, but a majority of the people in the room, a lot of hands went up. Okay. How about academia, researchers, and healthcare providers? Okay, we had a few hands go up there as well. And I'm sure many of you are on the webcast as well. Medical product developers. Do we have any developers in the room? Oh, yes. So we have maybe about 10 hands went up and hopefully more from the webcast as well. And so it makes me really happy to see this high level of interest from all of you all as well who play an important role in medical product development. FDA plays a critical role. We protect and promote public health by evaluating the safety, effectiveness, and quality of new products, but we're really just one part of the process, just one part of this broader medical product ecosystem. So for example, FDA does not develop medical products or conduct clinical trials. Medical product companies, sometimes working with researchers and hopefully working with patient communities, conduct trials and submit applications for new medical products to the agency. It is then, however, our job and our responsibility to ensure that the benefits of a product outweigh its risks. And so once again, seeing this really high level of interest and engagement from all the key stakeholders in this ecosystem is really important. And we all share a commitment to facilitating the development of safe and effective medical products and therapies for MPN. We're also, I hope, all committed to patient-focused drug development, which is really a systematic approach to help ensure that patients' experiences, perspectives, needs, and priorities are captured and meaningfully incorporated into the development and evaluation of medical products throughout the life cycle. This type of meeting, this externally led patient-focused drug development meeting, is really providing us an opportunity to hear directly from you all, the patients, who are experts on what it is like to live with your condition, about the symptoms that matter most to you, the impact the condition has on daily lives, and perspectives on current therapies for MPN. We are truly grateful to each of you, to each and every patient and loved one here in the room and joining us via the webcast, for being here and joining us and sharing your personal stories, experiences, and perspectives. From this morning's discussion, I am both humbled and inspired by your strength, determination, and resilience in the face of the many challenges of living with MPN. And I know that we will all leave here today feeling similarly. We look forward to incorporating what we learned today into the agency's thinking and understanding of how patients view the benefits and risks of therapies for MPN. And so with that, I'll turn it back to James. Thank you.